All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, I'm aLex. We're here together in this portal through the internet on Sun and Moon Yoga Studios, on Sun and Moon Yoga Studios channel. And we're here every weekday morning at 10 o'clock for half-hour practices, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So join us. It's a surprisingly fun way to connect, I think. So if you're new to me here, I'll spend about 8 to 10 minutes talking a bit, and then we'll sit together for 12 minutes is what I watch for, set my timer for. And last week's I've repeated the same title from last week because some of the themes were just there wasn't enough time for them. There never is, but these are eternal themes that support our practice, that are unending in a really good way, the never-ending story of how life continues to flow for us, and we can continue to learn, to always be learning, to improve our joy of living, our joy. And sometimes it feels kind of easy easy for me to be really upbeat when I'm here with you on Sundays, and but I know that our lives have a lot of ups and downs. We have times when we feel much more alone or are far from the feeling of joy and from ease and harmony. And that's just part of life. And the presence is never not here. And that's one of the good news, I've broken it down to three parts of the good news. And one is that the awareness, that presence we are, that is, I think I hear and I think without qualities. I hear from my teachers, and there's there's always this combination, and this is a big part of what's happening for us as we're practicing. Is we hear something from teachers, get a we read something like that awareness isn't here, is never not here, and part of us may resonate with that. That's that like that that truth already lives in us. We have an inkling of that. The seed of it is already within us. So I think we all have a sense of that presence is never not here. Another way this is addressed often is this idea of coming home to our true essence. This essence that's without qualities, without ending, without beginning or end, without and it's everywhere. And yeah, okay, so there's that. So it's always here. Another piece of the very good news is that in life off the cushion, off the mat, and as we meditate, we get distracted, we get drawn into the other side of the presence, the no qualities is the all the form that erupts. And our change of seasons is mirroring this now, from the quiet of winter, that quiet stillness, um, in a way, darkness, the soil kind of regenerating in that quiet time. And then spring with its explosion of form, of leaves, of blossoms, of color, of smells, of birds and sounds. And so that's actually like the not separate from that non-form, that awareness. It's the form is emptiness and emptiness is form. But we can lose sight of that source of ourself, that capital A awareness. So there's no problem, however, this is the good news piece. There's no problem in returning. Our consciousness, our attention has gone to other things and a lot of our energy. And there's a sort of forgetting, like forgetting where home is, forgetting that we even have a home. And yet I think there is a seed of knowing. There's a drawing to get back there. So what we can do, the third piece of the good news is we can cultivate our consciousness of that path back. Leave a trail that's not just breadcrumbs, but like of flagstone, of flagstones going back. Our nervous system is available for doing that. And so the more part of that grows by just coming back to the cushion frequently to our meditation. And part of that we can actively cultivate by using our imagination, to using our mind. This is another piece of our software is or hardware. The hardware of our brain is designed to imagine. So as athletes envision their perfect layup or their perfect pass to their teammate, we can also use imagination to recall or to even create anew that that feeling and that knowing of where home is. So last week I mentioned you could dream up an imaginary name of some sort of ice cream, kabuki ice cream, and that might not have any much draw to it. There might not be a seed of that within us. But if you say, what's it called, Moose Tracks ice cream, I think that might be one of them, the ones that have marshmallow and chunks of chocolate and nuts and caramel, things like that. Perhaps that's one of your one maybe you share with me a desire or a memory of enjoying that. And so when that comes up, there's something that knows within us that that is something um, we'd like, we desire, and we have a memory of it. So as a little practice before we, as a little sub practice before we enter into our meditation period, just be in a comfortable place right now. It doesn't have to be your exact meditation posture. And take a few breaths. And with this practice will segue us right into our meditation. This could be called a resource building practice. So attention to your breath and just letting your attention come to that mantra I use, ground sound breath, sensing the ground here supporting us. And perhaps it's even stirring for you right now because we've already cued a lot of the things for our being, for our nervous system. We've returned to this time, this place, this community, to this practice. And so, my invitation is for you to sense what you value about your meditation practice. To sense it, meaning as I put my hand on my heart, and maybe even on your belly, how it feels, not just the verbal memory, the way we can narrate it in language, which is part of it, of course, part of getting in touch with this, part of growing this memory of something already here for us. but also what it feels like in your throat, in your heart, in your belly, in the wholeness of yourself, what it feels like, what the value of your meditation practice feels like. And there's no problem if not much is coming. You can make it up, so to speak, and very helpful to, if you're narrating, to put it in the present tense too. I'm noticing that my meditation practice makes me feel quiet, makes me feel very much here, available, and yet not subject to being pulled off course. And you might, as where you are, you might even say these things out loud in the present tense. Hearing our own words can be is also part of what helps us integrate all of these senses that cue us to this state where we might be more receptive to sensing what's already true. That we had the ruby slippers all the time and there's no place like home. And then you might just assign one or two words, or perhaps an image, or a little jingle, a little tune, or a gesture to what it's like to a gesture with your hands, with maybe the expression in your face, the position of your head, any positioning of your body that might remind you or might illustrate what this value of your meditation practice. And my in my own sense, it's like my hand is on my heart, one hand on my leg, giving me this sense of really groundedness. One hand of on my heart, sensing that fullness of my being, my aliveness of my heart rhythm, blood flow. That's sort of in the middle, connecting all my biological functions of brain and digestion. Mm. And then let's transition with a bell and a bow to the formal, quiet, still sitting. You may want to just adjust whatever you need in the posture that you're choosing, seated, lying down, taking these first few minutes to really sense that earth connection, earth element of your own body to the earth element of the planet, our little plot here, affirming and confirming your physical presence. Awareness of breath can stream in to assist us in this, recognizing this gateless gate to presence. We can sense the structure of our spine that supports us, another earth element as we think of the bones and their partnership with the nervous system, with the organs, to help us align in partnership with the gravitational field of the earth. If you're choosing, as I introduced a few weeks ago, to have your eyes a tiny bit open, just a little bit open. I often start closed eyes and about now, or when it feels right. Just let my eyes be this tiny opening, looking down at a comfortable angle, the ground in front of me, but rather unfocused. And the whole eye position, eye part of the meditation is a whole big chapter. And certainly, if it feels better for you to keep eyes closed, if you feel like you can just be more present, go ahead and do that. Eyes open starts to cultivate this feeling of presence and grow that consciousness that that boundary between our body and our surroundings is true on one level, and yet awareness is equally present in both. It can be really helpful to take a focus of three successive breaths, especially allowing to allowing yourself to feel those three breaths in the deep low belly, in the base of the pelvis. And sound, this third part of the mantra I often use, and it opens us also to that continuum of being inside and out, that our senses receive and guide us to express this call and commitment to stillness, a balance here of that call that is a seed within us to home or to be right here, to pare away all the activity, all the form, but without denying it. It's here. We open a bit more as we feel safe, as we feel drawn to that spaciousness, silence, that very, very yin end of the spectrum. So we can start to allow that commitment is not an imposed demand, but rather a returning, a meeting of a passion within us already. Lightly, we can make this apparent step of stepping off the train of thought into just this sense of being that might be seen and felt from inside in a mysterious way from outside. Perhaps more and more we get a sense of no conflict in the formless being and the snoring of my dog or any of the forms, the formless and the form, all here. More and more, we get the sense of forgiving ourselves as we engage more in the form and return again and again to remembering the awareness that's always here. Thank you. Thank you for this time together again. The freedom part of this is that once we're more and more aware of the being, the presence, that the forms are limiting, and especially as the more we concretize around them, and the more we can recognize that awareness is always here, there's an allowance of the freedom, the forms to shift and change and let go and come back, um, and challenging sometimes. So we work together on this sense of getting grounded, of really having the safety to let go into that which seems just empty and formless. We need a combination of a feeling of safety for our nervous system and our memory, our this life and our all our generational memories. We need a sense of warmth, of that warm-heartedness that we cultivate, the kindness toward ourselves, the forgiveness, because in the formless, it's all welcome, and the clarity, the stopping and getting the clarity, letting ourselves sense that even if there's clouds, the clarity is there behind it, the clear blue sky. I'm so grateful to be sharing this practice with you guys. Happy Easter, happy I guess it's the end of Passover now. I don't know if I've got that right. And little reference, if you follow that, I think he's a schnauzer on YouTube, Pluto Living. He's got, I saw one talk on spring, maybe it's a recent one on spring and all the good news of spring and the celestial things that happen, and the moon, and how the holidays are connected to the holidays, the different kinds of moons that are here. So lots of good news in the spring, and the spring can be happening for us every moment in our hearts. Ciao, ciao, and thanks again for being here. And those of you who join me later and that we sit together in your home as well.